What's up, everyone? Beast Mode back here with another video. So today I want to cover a spicy third place zombie deck profile. It was piloted by the player named Yuli on Discord. They had posted the list and shared their matchups. They had played, let me just pull it up real quick, 2 Vayu Turbo, 2 Hero Frogs, 1 Stun deck. My guess would probably be the Rock deck. 1 Dandy Warrior, 1 Diva Hero, and then 1 Instant Zombie. So I have not actually played this deck, but I will kind of go through it really quickly, maybe give my opinion. And I also do want to discuss the fact that I have not posted my Deck Devastators run yet. I actually had the video recorded, and for some reason or another, my mic cut out, and I was talking to myself for 25 minutes. So I have to remake the video. So I'm hoping to get that out by next week. That would be the goal. I know a lot of people are requesting the matchups. But anyway, let's get into the deck list here. There are some cool things. I like the Morphing Jar. It's really cool in the sense that it can mix up your opponent. So nowadays, people don't want to attack. They want to pick and choose when they attack the zombie cards. They decide not to attack the Pyramid Turtles or Mystic Tomatoes because obviously they know you're trying to end on Goblin Zombie. And then they obviously try to kill the Goblin Zombies when they see them on the field because if they leave them there, then you can combo off. So players are just getting smarter with that, which is one of the reasons why I played Scrap Iron at the tournament, just so I can dictate when they are and aren't going to attack. They're not going to kill my Goblin Zombie if I don't want them to do so. But that's not what this video is about. But anyway, having Morphing Jar there, really, you could set that and they don't attack it thinking it's a recruiter. You could set 2 or 3 cards on your turn and you pretty much win the game when that happens. It's very unlikely that you're going to lose a game where you have 3 or 4 more cards than your opponent unless you're not playing well that day. So I do like Morphing Jar. I played with it a little bit. I think this card's a pretty good addition. Illblood is not all that spectacular without Ultimate Offering, and even then I didn't play it because I think that this card makes you, especially with Ultimate Offering, makes you do some plays and combos, or you kind of tunnel vision on it. It's kind of a win more card in that deck, to be honest with you. You could do some crazy stuff with it. I have topped plenty of tournaments with this card in just straight up Diva Zombie, and it works okay if you can book a life it back. It's not ever really good if you hard tribute summon it. Most of the time I just use it with Allure. And I have since pretty much cut it from the deck. Especially here where there's only 1 book of life, I just don't think this is needed. It's probably better to just be a 3rd Caius or a Sangan, which is also not in this deck. I feel like Sangan should be in the deck. It's just annoying to just summon Sangan and swing with it. If they have no D prisons, it really puts your opponent in an awkward position after a couple turns. Excuse me, I actually have a little bit of a cold, so pardon my sniffles. So yeah, I just feel like Sangan should be in the deck. It's kind of broken, more or less. I know it is a little bit slow, so I understand why people are cutting it, but I wouldn't do that. Gale is probably not 100% necessary if you're not playing Mystic Tomato. I feel like it loses a little bit of value. It's a love-hate relationship with this card. Some tournaments I run it, other tournaments I don't. Typically, I play it when I play Mystic Tomato, but that's not in this deck here. Triple Diva with the 1 Gilman, so this is just a straight-up brick. This card is not good at all. So it kind of feels like they're going like a Diva hero approach, with the Synchro being a little bit more aggressive, but they played the 1 Gold Sock too, which I think should just probably be in my control because you're playing Gale, Triple Diva, and a Plague. This card's good. I've tested with it. It's great if you go first. It's awful going second, and most of the time you have to like side it out. Excuse me. Instant Fusion is just one of. This is probably fine. Maybe the right number, 1 or 2. It's probably not 3, but that's just my opinion. I like the traps here. I'm down to 1 bottomless. I think 2 is it's great if you get to go first every single game, but going second and they already summoned a Blackwing monster is not that great. It's probably just, I've just been side decking the second one. I'm probably the only person doing that. I feel like a lot of people are kind of on both of the bottomless, but we'll see. Double Compulse, I think, is good. I feel like 1's the right number because this card gets awkward at times when you're going second and they're like setting hamsters and Raikos. It's a clean out to like Drill Warrior and obviously any other synchro. So it can be very good. Sometimes it gets a little awkward too when you go and like have to set a Goblin or a Pyramid Turtle and they Caius you and then you can like bounce it back to your hand. It obviously slows you down. You give up a normal summon, but sometimes you just have to do that to play. Triple D prison here is I was on this when I was actually playing in Fullerton, and it was pretty good. I feel like it might be a bit overkill. Sometimes it's just too many of them. You could side deck 1 or 2 if you wanted. I was on 1 a couple weeks ago when I did my Deck Devastators run. It was fine. Let's see, Regeki Break. Regeki Break's a pretty good card. I think it might just be better to have a Wing Blast. Stardust can be annoying sometimes, and if they see you on Regeki Break, obviously you have the Deep Prison and Compulse, so you can probably deal with it. But I feel like Wing Blasting of Royal Oppression is just better than Regeki Breaking of Royal Oppression because A, you know the draw, and B, after you synchro summon, now they're drawing a dead Royal Oppression essentially, and if they happen to flip it up on you, you can use it against them. I just think the information that you gain from Wing Blast is probably just better than Regeki Break, but that's my opinion. Starlight Row is pretty cool. Catches a lot of people off guard. Some players will play around it. When you set 4 back row, you cannot just slam heavy. You have to avoid that, and some players don't, so they walk right into it. Trap Stun. I like Trap Stun. I think it's a better side deck card, personally. I think that Dust Tornado is just better. Hits the Whirlwind, hits all the same things that Trap Stun does. I like the ability to set off of Dust Tornado, especially Return and Ultimate Offering if you're playing that build. That's just my opinion. This card's really good too when it works. No Trap Dust Shoot. I think I understand why that card's kind of bad sometimes, especially going second and certain decks where they just set their whole hand. But I feel like playing Trap Dust Shoot is an auto win, so I want as many auto wins as I can have. Return is an auto win. Dust Shoot's an auto win. Dark Arm's an auto win. You know what I mean? These are just cards that I feel like you should be playing. There's pieces of me that wanted to cut Judgment and Dust Shoot too. I think we've all kind of been there, but the reality is when you play those cards, you just win. So I think you should probably just play them. Side deck's interesting. I like the Breaker. Helps with the Royal Decree situation because some people are side decking Royal Decree, which is really not good for the Ultimate Offering build or this build. Is just 15 traps. I think my Ultimate Offering build had 16. I think Ark's build was over 17. There are just a lot of traps in those decks. So Decree coming in could be dangerous. So Break is pretty cool, especially where it works with Compulse because you can break or something and then Compulse it back. If you had Ultimate Offering, you could summon it again. That's kind of a cool trick, but that's not in this deck. One Cyber Dragon's fine. It's good to have a nice big beater, especially playing against Value Turbo when they try to deck dev you. One Crow is okay. I don't think one or two is probably fine. You want something for like Value and Dragon Turbo. Double Kaiku is good against Value. It also makes you a little bit more resistant to deck devy. Mole is cool. I find that's better with Ultimate Offering because you can like bounce, pay 500, bounce. You could bounce someone's whole board. So it's kind of cool. I think this card's pretty good against Value Turbo as well. My Body's cool, catches people off guard. Deck Devy is probably not necessary, but I understand what they're trying to do. They can go game 2 and make a Catastrophe play, and then Deck Devy kind of like how Diva Hero does it. Double Dust in the sideboard is pretty standard. I think 1 point in the rug is the right number. I know people are on 2 or 3. Problem is it doesn't really stop the Frog deck. I think everybody believes it does, but excuse me. Games 2 and 3 Frog players are not dumb. They understand what's coming in, and they are side decking to beat your side deck. That's essentially how they play, and they just bring in Vandy's Fiends and cut down on some of the Monarchs, and then you have Dead pulling the rug sitting there. Because if you don't have this like turn 1 against the Swap Frog, then you're waiting to hit a Monarch, and if they're down to like 2 Monarchs, if they just side decked out a Riser and a Caius or something, like what are you gonna hit? Because once Swap Frog summoned and sends Treeborn, like you never want to hit a Swap Frog with it again. So maybe you hit a Junk if they're even on that, but even they side deck that out sometimes because of deck devy. So I don't know. I just think 1 is probably the right number. Second, Trap Stun on the side is fine. Extra deck here, I don't think you need Chimera Tech even with the Cyber Dragon. I think you can just side deck Cyber Dragon fine. Especially as a one of. I think that if you had the extra deck space, that's fine. If you wanted to throw the Chimera Tech in just to be covered, but this card's really not necessary. I played against machines. Deck Devastators, and I did not miss Cyber Dragon or Chimera Tech. It's not very often that you slam Cyber Dragon and get to like contact for 5 gadgets and make a big Chimera Tech. I just don't think it's necessary. This Warrior card here is played just because of Drago, and people are worried that they can't bring out the Fire Dragon. I don't know. I don't play enough Instant Fusion. Maybe that comes up, but like, how often do you play Dragon Turbo? It's getting a little bit more popular. Number 1. Number 2, how often is the Drago actually on the field where it's a problem? I think most of the time you just want the Fire Dragon because it's dark. Just my opinion. This card's broken, so I understand why you play it. This card I didn't even play when I played Gale. I just don't find it often that you're ever really going into this. Most of the time, if you're ever synchroing Gale, it's like to make Black Rose. Most of the time, I use Gale not to synchro, but just to beat things. Extra deck here, no Doom Kaiser. I think that's a mistake. I am standing on that hill there where everybody is arguing about having Doom Kaiser or not having Doom Kaiser. I think you need Doom Kaiser. You could cut the Chimera Tech and put Doom Kaiser in. There's no reason why that shouldn't be. I just feel like that card comes up more often than this will. Like this card, you bring this out, it doesn't win you the game, even against machines, and it's very like situational that you have to have the one cyber dragon to even bring it out. Where Doom Kaiser, sure, you may not play a single zombie that day, but if you do, having Doom Kaiser, and it's not even a matter of playing zombies. Value puts plague in the graveyard. There's so many times I brought Doom Kaiser out against Lightsworn who mill a plague, because the reality is Lightsworn mills plague at the end phase. They can't do anything with it. Whereas Vayu can like send plague to the graveyard with an Armageddonite, and then they use it right away, so you can't do anything with it. But I just think Doom Kaiser probably comes up more often than this does. Double Stardust is not needed with one Starlight Road, in my opinion. I played double Starlight Road, so I had two Stardust Dragon. You probably would want that there, but I think one is fine with just one road. So this was a 60-person tournament. It's in Southern California. They are exceptional players there. Like I said, I played RBET there, and I know these players can play. It's like one of the biggest Edison in-person scenes. So this deck, made it out almost on top, third place. So it might be worth testing. I have not done so yet. There's some things I would change here, but it's a matter of just opinion. Like I said, whether it's right or wrong, that you guys have to conclude that. I personally still like Ultimate Offering. I like Scrap Iron Scarecrow. I'm not saying you have to play that. Deep Prison's fine, but I am going to try to get the tournament run out because people are interested to see the matches. And also War League is going off this week. We started and the matches are great. There's some high level play, and so even if you're not in the War League, I highly recommend that you join the server. You can watch the replays of all the matches and really learn. There are some new players playing in the league for the first time, just learning Edison, and I feel like there's a lot of replay discussion in the chat. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, but you can take what you want from it. And yeah, so at this point, I'll see y'all in the next one.